Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. I don't want to wait. AOA podcast. What day is it? Wednesday. Boy, this Wednesday took a whole week, did it not? The Pam Bondi thing, I'm not going to lie to you. It was, I aged 40 years today. I don't know if you could tell, but I got a couple of extra gray hairs up here because of Pam Bondi's testimony today in front of the House Judiciary Committee, the latest in the Epstein files saga. It is going to be, you might think this is a solo show. It's going to be me and Pam Bondi co-hosting because I got a lot of clips and I got a lot to say about what this idiot said today. Latest update on Savannah Guthrie's mom. There has been a development there, so stay tuned for that. And if you haven't heard the news yet, we lost the great James Vanderbeek, Dawson from Dawson's Creek. I don't want to wait for that song. I know I can't sing, so I'm not going to sing. So we'll remember the great, beautiful life of James Vanderbeek. We got a couple of other assorted topics and such. If we can get to it, it's a jam-packed show because Pam Bondi. I'm excited to remember the great James Vanderbeek. Very sad that he's gone, but excited to be remembering him. All right, appreciate everybody in the live chat. So good to have the scroll going here on the screen. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram Live. However you like watching us, we surely do appreciate it. If you're on the Instagram, hop over to Facebook and YouTube. It's a better viewing experience, although I know people like to just check in on us as they're just scrolling through on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night. You know, we're live each and every one of those days, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And by 8:30, I mean sometime before 9. It always just kind of seems to work out that way. Anyway, if you missed it, the big news of the day today was Pam Bondi going in front of the House Judiciary Committee to answer some questions. Now, normally when somebody does this, they're there to answer questions. Pam Bondi was there to pick a fight. Pam Bondi had a whole binder full of information and a folder full of information on every single one of the members of the House Judiciary Committee that questioned her, and she had retorts like ready to go. A more hostile witness I have never seen but Pam Bondi, but she came in there ready for a battle. And there's a couple of amazing things about this. Like, I'm sitting here after going over the testimony, and by the way, she was there for like 4 hours. So there's a lot to cover. So I've pulled together the greatest hits, the greatest douchey moments to share with you, because there was a lot. I mean, I could have just literally hit play and kicked my feet up on the desk, and you would have gotten the full story. But in an effort to save you some time, it's truly extraordinary that Pam Bondi came in there ready for a fight with some of the answers that she delivered after doing such a horrific job delivering these files and what she should have done, after bungling redaction after redaction. And this whole entire time, as you're watching this footage, I want you to keep in mind that behind Pam Bondi are numerous Epstein victims who had the courage to show up, show their face, and demand justice. And she disrespected them at every single turn and had no problem doing it. I am stunned and befuddled by some of the things that we saw from Pam Bondi today. Now, I want you to form your own conclusions on this thing. But I want you to think about, as you're watching some of this footage or you're listening in your car. Appreciate you guys who listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Amazon Music and everything. Thank you. We're on the Amazon. You can tell Alexa to play us. It's quite amazing. It's a real thrill. As you're going through this, I want you to think, is it in America's best interest to have Pam Bondi as our Attorney General? And then I also want you to think, how does Pam Bondi sleep at night? Because it's really quite amazing what she has done here. I'm going to start. This might be a little out of order. I'm going to kind of give it to you as I saw it, but I'm going to give you just a couple of clips and then we'll talk about it and we'll review it. I'm not even going to do an intro. I'm just going to let you guys just go right into it. But here's one instance, 41 seconds from PBS on just to give you a little taste, just to wet your beak on what you can expect from Pam Bondi's testimony. Now, remember, she is going in front of the House Judiciary Committee to testify, to answer questions. But as you'll see here, she fully went on the offense.
For $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
Mr. Jordan, Mr. Jordan.
Committee. The Dow right now is over.
So she goes into the committee to answer questions about the Epstein files and how poorly she's handled it. And she wants to talk about the Dow Jones. She wants to talk about 401ks. The most hilarious part of that clip was she wants to talk about America's safety. Yeah, America's safety, unless you're a kid. Unless you're a kid and a rich person wants to do whatever they want to you, then you're on your own. But overall, America's safety is what Pam Bondi wants to talk about. Somebody's going to have to help me. Somebody's going to have to help me. I'm not going to make it this episode. I'm not going to make it. I am not going to make it. I almost threw my phone through the wall 17 times today watching her testify in front of the grand jury, the House Judiciary Committee. Young girls, I mean, they're women now, but young girls with deep psychological issues after being abused and trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein are sitting 10 feet away from her. And she is looking America in the eye and telling you that they do not matter. My children, your children do not matter. If a rich person wants them, that's all that matters, because all that matters is money, the Dow Jones, and what our 401ks are doing. And what's wrong with us? What's our problem? Christella, what's your problem? Miss Justice, where do you fucking get off worrying about children and keeping them safe? We're the ones. We're the idiots. We're the problem. Matt, you're a problem. Christella, you're a problem. You guys are messed up. You guys are stupid. How dare you? How dare you worry about the safety of the youth of America, both past and present, when we have the Dow? Well, look where the Dow is. How could we worry about? So a couple of kids got molested. What's the big deal? Just look where our 401ks are. Now, is that much what I just said? Is that any crazier than what she just said? I don't think so. At least I didn't have poor victims behind me. They're right there. She had to walk past them to get in and out of the room. You know, I mean, I don't even, I don't know how. I understand people are caught up in right versus left. I understand this administration has to battle through a lot of bias as they try and get things done. But for the love of God, be a fucking human being for 5 seconds. I mean, Pam Bondi has kids, right? I mean, she knows kids. I'm sure there's kids in her neighborhood. Does she have siblings who have children? How could she just be like, look where the Dow is? That's what we should be talking about. This is the biggest child trafficking ring that has ever existed. Ever. And these people are treating it like it's no big deal. And you want to know why? Because it's no big deal to them. say what you will about the president of the United States, but this is a man driven by money. I don't think anybody would doubt that, both his detractors and his supporters, right? The guy has been there to just make money. He wants America to be great again. He wants to win all the time. We're all going to get sick of winning all this. Children who get abused are collateral damage. It's unfortunate. Oh, it's so sad. But, you know, we're here to make money. It's rich men. You know, these things are going to happen. Children are going to get molested. Well, what can we do with the 401k? That's literally their mindset. And you might think the president is a piece of shit, and you might think the president is a decent human being. But I feel like no matter where you fall on that, the way he's handling this and the way this idiot went in there today and handled it, they just don't fucking care about these people. They're collateral damage. They're poor. They're women. And they don't matter, you know? And what's amazing is they've stopped apologizing for it. I mean, they've really stopped apologizing for it. The president in the Oval Office the other day is like, you know, I feel bad for Bill Clinton that he's got to go through all this because the Democrats are. Where's the sympathy for the victims? Because there's hundreds of them. Where's that? No, what do we have? We have the president going, you know, there's going to be people that are going to get dragged into this who really did nothing wrong. Well, that's unfortunate, but that's part of the gig now. I'm sorry. When you have hundreds of women that were molested and abused and trafficked. Sorry if a couple of Tom, Dick, and Harrys have to come out and prove their innocence. I'm so sorry to inconvenience, you know, the machine. There's a clip we're going to play. Three members of the Trump administration are prominently, not so forget him for a second. 3 members of his administration are prominently featured in the latest dump of files, including Howard Lutnick. And the sympathy from Pam Bondi and the president is for Howard Lutnick getting caught up in this, not the women that are taken advantage of, not the young girls that stand up in this committee room and have to, you know, watch as this all goes on in front of them. I mean, it's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. All right. Next clip here. Let's pop this up for everybody. And listen, if this ain't your thing, we got a lot of clips. Here's the, we just did this one. What are we doing here? Come on, computer. What are you doing to me? Did I get the same thing twice? Appreciate everybody in the live chat. Thanks for keeping it all moving. No, here we go. All right, come on now. All right, let's get the next clip up. This is Pam Bondi in the House Judiciary Committee from earlier today. This clip comes from Call to Activism, who put on the clip from MS Now. Here, let's take a listen to this.
To the survivors in the room, if you are willing, please stand. And if you are willing, please raise your hands if you have still not been able to meet with this Department of Justice. Please.
So there they are. So there's the women who survived this thing. And Miss Jayapal, sorry, I don't know who the hell these people are for the most part. Ask them to stand and ask them if they're still willing to talk to the Justice Department. And God love these women. They all raised their hands.
Know for the record that every single survivor has raised their hand. Attorney General Bondi, you apologize to the survivors in your opening statement for what they went through at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of the Epstein files and their information.
Congresswoman, you sat before Merrick Garland sat in this chair twice.
Attorney General
Twice.
Bondi.
No, can I finish my answer?
No, I'm going to reclaim my time because I asked you a
Attorney General,
specific question
Attorney General
that
can
I would
respond to your
like
question.
you to answer, which is, will you turn to the survivors? This is not about anybody that came before you. It is about you taking responsibility for your Department of Justice and the harm that it has done to the survivors who are standing right behind you and are waiting for you to turn to them and apologize for what your Department of Justice is.
Members get to ask the questions, the witness get to answer in the way they want to answer. The Attorney General can
That's
respond.
not accurate, Mr. Chairman.
Because she doesn't like the
my
answer.
time.
So,
Mr. Chairman,
why
I have asked.
didn't she ask Merrick Garland this?
I'm
Twice
reclaiming
when he
my
sat in my
time, and when
chair.
I
will
reclaim my
continue to
time,
answer.
it
Mr.
is
Chairman, the
Time-
gentleman is
time-
I'm
reclaimed
not
her
going
time.
to get in the gutter for her theatrics.
The time belongs to the time belongs to the gentlelady. The gentlelady has 17 seconds.
Thank you. You're not going to answer this question, so let me just say
Chairman, I'll
this.
direct it to
What a
you.
massive
No, I'm
cover-up.
answering a
Mr.
question.
Chairman, will you restore her time? The witness is interrupted.
In the gutter with this woman.
Stop the
She's
time
doing
and
theatrics.
let me have my
The gentlelady from Washington controls the time. The gentlelady has 17 seconds. You can proceed with your final
Thank you.
17 seconds.
What a massive cover-up this has been and continues to be. Donald Trump made the release of the Epstein files the center of his political campaign because he thought it would benefit him. Then you got into office, Attorney General, claimed to have a client list, only
Regular
to
order.
then say that there was no list. Your deputy,
Time-
Todd
time of
Blanche,
the-
met alone
time of the
with
gentlelady
Elaine
has- the
Maxwell
time of the
and
gentlelady has
transferred
expired.
her to a minimum security prison. And now you continue
The
the
time of the
cover-up.
gentlelady
And I
has
wish
expired.
that you would turn around to the survivors who are standing right behind you and on a human level,
Chairman,
Chair now
apologize to them
recognizes the chair.
on what you have
Professional.
done.
Time is the
I
gentlelady
yield
expired.
back.
The gentlelady, you have no time to yield back.
Theatrics.
We appreciate that. We appreciate the thought.
Pretty explosive, no? I like that lady. She's got gusto. That's what my grandmother used to call a spicy pepper. You know, she's got some fight in her, that one. But is she wrong? You know, and this is a theme that you're going to see. Like, why didn't Merrick Garland, have to respond to these things? That's a great question. It's a totally valid question. But Merrick Garland's not the AG right now. You are. Answer the questions. It's true. Biden was in the office for 4 years and nothing happened here. Nobody thought anything would. We would get little things here and there. Nobody thought anything would. And if Pam Bondi or the president is sitting here wondering, well, it's not fair. Why do we have to deal with this? Well, your administration campaigned on it. You told people, vote for me. I'll release this stuff. And then the second you got in there, suddenly it was a hoax put on by the Democrats. The reason why everybody's so fired up about it is because one thing about Americans is we can smell bullshit. We're used to getting lied to by our government. Lies are not a big deal. Lies are no problem. We can take lies. You can lie to us. That's fine. But we can smell bullshit. And if you don't know the difference between a lie and bullshit, you might not be American. You also might not be a redneck either. I don't know. I think that's how the bit used to go. But I mean, that's the God's honest truth. It's the difference between I like winning and I hate losing. There's a difference there. There's a difference between lies and bullshit. We're used to lies. We can take lies. Lies we can handle. Bullshit we cannot. And yeah, it sucks that Merrick Garland didn't have to answer these questions. Are we going to say that Biden got a free ride on the Epstein thing? Possibly. But the world changed when you ran and said, I'll release these. And then you got in there and did nothing. And that's why everybody's being so nasty to you. And then if you want to say, okay, well, that was the president, not Pam Bondi. Yeah, but the president wasn't the one who had Pam Bondi. Maybe he was. I don't know. Give a bunch of influencers binders with the Epstein information and act like this is all fucking fun and games. while people who were abused and trafficked had to sit back and watch it. Victims' names who didn't have to be released were released. Was it an accident? I got a clip that I'm going to show you that it's hard to say that it was. And it's hard not to think that this is some form of intimidation from these people. Why else would the government put out their names when they specifically asked not to be named? When the only thing they had to do was redact victims' names. And now that Massey and Khan have gotten them to show Congress the unredacted names, they're like, these names shouldn't be redacted. These are co-conspirators, not victims. So why are you releasing victims' names and redacting co-conspirator names? Why? Why is that happening? It's hard not to think it's some form of intimidation. All right, now Brian Krasenstein, who I can't fucking stand whatsoever, he's just as much of a piece of shit as Benny Johnson is. He provides this clip from the Pam Bondi testimony earlier today in front of the House Judiciary Committee.
It's done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked that those files.
I'm reclaim my time. I got your answer. You said there's no evidence.
Trump asked
Chairman, please stop the clock. Stop the clock.
The legislation. This is
Time.
this is
like to
ridiculous.
reclaim my time.
Time belongs to the gentleman from California.
Okay. I'm going to put up another document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath, and this is all on videotape. You said there's no evidence of crime. I'm showing you. Here is a witness statement who called into the FBI's Threat Operations Center. He drove Donald Trump around in a limo. He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone. He was so angry, he was going to stop a limo and hurt Donald Trump. And he met a girl who said she was raped by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. She later had her head blown off, and officers at the scene said that could not have been suicide. No one at the Department of Justice interviewed this witness. You need to interview this witness immediately. Epstein should rot in hell. So should the men who patronized his operation. And as we sit here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable. Shame on you. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing concludes.
So that was the, and listen, it's a hot topic when the president becomes involved, right? And part of me still feels like, I don't know. But I think the bigger crime here is the cover up that's happening now is my whole point. Like, it's possible he didn't do anything, but he knew about it. You know, he knew about it. By the way, the story has come up that after Epstein was arrested, Trump called the police department and was like, it's a good thing you did this because he's evil. And by the way, Ghislaine Maxwell's more evil. So he knew. And I know there's people that are like, oh, that's a good thing. Like, see, he was on the right side. No, but he's not on the right side of it. Because if he knew back then enough to call the police and say, you did a good thing by getting this guy off the streets, then why was he just a few months ago calling this a Democratic hoax? If you really knew what a piece of shit this guy was, if you told the police department that Ghislaine Maxwell's just as bad, if not worse, then why was it, well, I wish her well? Why is it, well, it's a Democratic hoax? I'm telling you, Donald Trump's crime, there's two parts of this. Donald Trump's crime is what he's doing now. That's the crime. That's the crime. If he did nothing before, then this is the crime. And the other thing is, where is the investigation? Where is this witness? Where is their testimony? Why weren't they interviewed? Why weren't they cross-examined? Why, if it's bullshit, then why didn't you call them in and try and prove it? Like, prove it's bullshit. Prove it. That's the second part of this. You know, everybody wants to say, well, Donald Trump's name is in it 1,000 times, 4 million times, 6 trillion times. Well, who gives a shit? Who fucking cares? It doesn't matter how many times he's named. That means nothing. You have a series of accusations. You have them listed out in a DOJ form. Where's page 2 that says we interviewed this person and they were lying? Or we interviewed this person and their story didn't check out? Or we interviewed this other person and there's an alibi and this is a blah, blah. Where's that information? The fact that that's not there, that's not a crime, but that's not great. That needs to be further investigated. By the way, how is Kash Patel walking around with his head held high after he sat in front of the House Judiciary Committee and he told them there is no evidence? He wasn't trafficking girls. Anybody with a 4th grader reading level who has 5 minutes to go through these files can tell you there's 100 other men that should be investigated because of what they've written in emails. To sit there and be like, there is nobody else, there's nothing else to see here. Holy shit, people, this is the crime. The attorney general not answering questions, the head of the FBI lying about what's in the files. These are the crimes now that are happening. And this administration's not going to do a single thing. It's February 11th. Pam Bondi should not be the attorney general. Kash Patel should not be the head of the FBI come March 1st. That's ludicrous and ridiculous. It's absurd that these two specifically are still sitting in those chairs. It's absurd that every one of those 3 million documents have not been further investigated. Steve Tisch, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, all these people that were begging to go to his parties and be in his orbit and lied about having relationships with him, lied. Howard Lutnick got caught in a lie. He went in front of Congress and said, yeah, I misguided the American people when I said I broke off any relationship with him in 2005. Took his fucking family to the island and then he's like, but my family was there. Nothing was untoward. And we're supposed to believe you? You went on national television. You testified. You told us that you didn't have a relationship after 2005, but you had enough of a relationship to email him and be like, hey, we're just kind of in the area. Can we come by for lunch? And then we're supposed to believe that you went there for an hour and left and then never spoke to him ever again? Are you fucking kidding me? Again, I can deal with lies. Bullshit, that's not what we like. We don't like bullshit, and that's bullshit. I mean, that's lies wrapped in bullshit if we're going to be totally honest, but that's bullshit. Howard Lutnick, I don't give a fuck how great the Dow is and the 401ks. Howard Lutnick should resign. He should be removed from his position. This is a fucking disgrace. Everywhere in the rest of the world, England, all these places, people are embarrassed. They're getting out of the way. They're leaving. Not in this country. Not in this country. We've hit a new fucking low. I mean, I am embarrassed. I'm fucking embarrassed to be an American today. I don't know what to tell people. I'm embarrassed. When people I know from other places go, that's your attorney general, I got to go, I'm embarrassed. How could you not be? Even if you're a conservative, if you're a Republican, and again, I'm an independent. Even if you voted for this administration, how could you not be fucking embarrassed by the way they're handling this? Well, why didn't you ask Merrick Garland? Well, why didn't you do this? Well, why didn't you do? No, answer the fucking question. You're in the fucking seat now. You want to get the paycheck? You want to serve the country? Answer the fucking question. Because last I checked, it wasn't Merrick Garland who told you to hand a binder to these influencers and make a mockery out of this process. It wasn't Merrick Garland who told you to take a list of 30-something victims, redact one name, and put all the rest of the victims out there when you were specifically told not to do that. And it wasn't Merrick Garland or Joe Biden or even fucking Bill Clinton for that matter. And he's got plenty to answer to for this, who fucking went out there. It was none of them who told you to redact the names of 6 co-conspirators. Les Wexner, we all know, started this train. Everybody knows. We've been covering this for 6 years now. Everybody knows that Les Wexner was ground zero, victim number 1. He conned Les Wexner. He honey trapped, whatever you want to call it. Les did some not great things, allegedly. I don't have the lawyers that other people do. And he started this whole train. He got Epstein to give him his Manhattan house, and then it just went from there. Wexner was the first one. Everybody knows about this. This is scumbag 101. Everybody knows. Les Wexner's name was redacted. He needs to be protected. But the 30 victims, well, they can go fuck themselves. That's an intimidation move. It's a fucking intimidation move. It's disgusting. And she's going to sit up there and act like, well, the other people. This isn't a partisan issue. It's just not. No matter how much people want to tell you it is. No matter how much this current administration wants to point to the other side of the aisle and tell you what's wrong with them. And believe me, there's plenty. I got plenty of fucking problems with the Democrats. This is not an issue. You're in the seat right now. You're the attorney general. You're the head of the FBI. You're the fucking president of the United States. And I got news for you. If we're still talking about this 4 years from now, whoever the next attorney general is, they're still going to have to answer these questions. I'm still going to be fucking pissed off if we don't have all the information. And my ire will be pointed towards them, whoever they are, because it's their responsibility to get this information out to the American fucking people. Mr. Massey, along with Rokon, has done some great work on this. Here's Mr. Massey's turn at asking Pam Bondi some questions. This one's a little long deal. Stay with me. It'll be worth it.
To my right is an email that was sent by the victims' lawyers to the DOJ. It was a list of names not to redact. A list of names not to release. What did the DOJ do with this email? They released this email in the document production. Literally the worst thing you could do to the survivors, you did. And they're getting phone calls. A lot of these people didn't want to be known. And we know you touched the document because you redacted one name.
So Massey points out an email from the victims to the DOJ. Please do not release these names. These are our names. We don't want to be public. We don't want the world to know that we were caught up and victimized in the world's worst traffic ring. And what does the DOJ do? They review it, they look at it, they redact one name, and then they send it out to everybody. That's not witness intimidation. That's not witness intimidation. I understand you have 7 million documents to deal with. I get it. It's a lot. But these are all high-paid lawyers who work for the Department of Justice. I understand mistakes happen. But when you get an email from the victims saying, please don't release our names, and that is one of the first things to go out. And again, to Massey's point, we know it was looked at because our name was redacted. That's not them trying to intimidate people. Come on now. Come on. Come on. I know the reputation of podcasters, right? We like to say outrageous things. We like to get people talking. A lot of my brothers and sisters in the podcast industry wear those tinfoil hats, but you don't have to be some sort of conspiracy theorist to put this one together. This is sheer intimidation. It's sheer intimidation.
And you redacted the lawyer's name, but you left the survivor's name there. The next document I want to show you, that was in the title, the victims' survivors' names, all right? The title of this one is Child Sex Trafficking, Co-Conspirators, fully redacted. And by the way, I'm going to unredact them here. Les Wexner is in this. Now, your your deputy attorney general said, oh, well, he appears hundreds of times in the files, but he doesn't appear in this file until I forced you to release it, where he's listed as a co-conspirator, not to tax evasion, but to child sex trafficking, not to prostitution. not to money laundering, child sex trafficking. And then finally, what we have here is the third exhibit that I have is emblematic of the FD 302 release. These are the documents that we need that you're holding on to and over redacting because they have the names of the men who are implicated. How do we know? Because the survivors gave testimony to the FBI and it's in there. And what happens when you go to the portal at the DOJ to look at what's behind this redaction? Another redaction. So we can't even see them. And then there's some of these files you've pulled down from the website that we will never see because we can't search the redactions. So I have several questions for you. Who's responsible? Are you able to track who in your organization made this massive failure and released the victims' names? Are you able to track who it was that obscured Les Wexner's name as a co-conspirator in an FBI document?
Now, that's not a wild question. That's a legitimate question to point at this thing and be like, hey, this was a massive screw up. Who's responsible for this? That's a fair question to ask anybody. By the way, Massey's a Republican, by the way.
Do you have that kind of accountability?
I believe Wexner's name was listed more than 4,000 times.
Yeah, I already told you that. This is where he's listed as a co-conspirator.
Can I finish my answer? Come on, let me finish my answer. We corrected that within 40 minutes. He was already, you're acting like everybody's trying to cover up Wexner's name.
Reclaiming my time.
I'm going to answer this question.
Reclaiming my time.
He was,
Mr. Chairman.
This is how this works.
Can I have my time back?
Mr.
Chairman.
The gentlelady can give her answer. The time belongs to the gentleman from.
All right, I'm reclaiming my
Can I give
time.
my answer?
So
Yes.
I'm going to put the language of the bill up on the screen.
Chairman,
because I
may I
have
give
another
my
question.
answer on that?
If-
It's a
Here's
political
the question.
joke, and I need to give my answer
Yeah,
on that.
we'll let the Attorney General respond, and then the gentleman can move to his
Chairman,
next question.
it's my time.
Within 40
Chairman.
minutes, you asked me a question.
You can give
Within
me-
40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes
You
of me catching you red-handed.
There was one redaction out
Where
of
he's
over
listed as a
4,700,
co-conspirator.
Okay.
and we invited
what?
you
Show
in.
the video.
This guy has Trump
Gentlemen.
derangement syndrome. He needs to.
Show the
You're a failed
He won't.
politician.
Did
Gentlemen,
Epstein
you need to
try
get
to
on
want you to
these
watch the
matters.
video.
Mr.
Chairman, please restore his
Besides
time
Biden
and remind the witness of the
himself,
rules
there
here.
is
Time.
no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case. Yes.
All right, so it's a little confusing because then you start to see other people because Massey asks for this video to be played, the Kash Patel thing. But she basically is like, oh, he has Trump derangement syndrome and all this. Like, Trump derangement. What does this have to do with Trump derangement syndrome? You got an email. You were asked not to release these victims' names. You redacted the lawyer's name who sent the email, and then you put the whole thing out. What does that have to do with the president of the United States? What does that have to do with Trump derangement syndrome? We finally have, it's hard enough to get these Congress people to actually represent the constituents and not special interests. We're finally getting that in at least two of these people, Khan and Massey. And she's out there trying to sling political mud back and forth. Everybody can see through this, right? It's not just me. Can you let me know in the chat right now with a 1? If you agree with me and a 2 if you disagree with me. We can all see through Pam Bondi here, right? I mean, there's not some people that are still sucking off the teat of the current administration that they think that she's got a point, right? Can we check in on the? I got 1 potato, 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4 from Robin. Good, got the potato in there. I love that he's sticking with that bit, Robin. That makes me so happy. Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure that I'm not going fucking crazy because it's disgusting. I'll take a Juan. That works too, Lindy. Thank you for the laugh. Hard to get a lot of laughs in this episode, so we'll take what we can get. Like it's fucking sickening. This guy's got Trump derangement. Like, bro, we know. By the way, you know what really pisses me off? People who take Trump's shtick and try and do it. This is Trump's thing. He's a very unique individual with a particular set of charismatic skills. When other people try and do what he does, it falls flat. Well, first of all, there's a lot of people that don't like when he does what he does. Second of all, when somebody else tries to do it, It's just fucking horrific. It's horrific. So anyway, Massey plays the clip of Kash Patel telling everybody, hey, not much to see here.
Yesterday, that he trafficked to other individuals.
Is that your position as well?
My position is any victim who comes forward, of course, we would love to hear from them. 1-800-CALL-FBI. Did you ask Merrick Garland that the last 4 years? Did you talk about Epstein?
I'm reclaiming
at all
my
the
time.
last
I'm
4
glad you're
years?
asking about Merrick Garland.
You don't get to reclaim
because
time
this
when
is
you don't-
bigger
when-
than
when you can't-
Watergate.
when I don't answer the question the
This
way you
goes
want.
over 4 administrations. You don't have to go back to Biden. Let's go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush. This cover up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion of it.
And
Truer words never spoken. This cover up goes over decades, 4 administrations, truer words never spoken. And Pam Bondi is responsible for this portion of it. That is so well said, Mr. Massey. I can't compliment you enough. That is exactly the entire point. This is bigger than Watergate. This is as big as anything we've ever seen, including Whitewater, Watergate, the Kennedy assassination. This is right up there with all of it. It is a fucking American disgrace that has impacted 4 administrations. And the people have gotten so fed up that now is when we want answers. And by the way, we were so close to getting them because one of the things that the current president ran on was the fact that he was going to release this information to people. And the fact that he's done a 180 and has called it a Democratic hoax. And now all his cronies are out there calling people embarrassing and Trump derangement syndrome. And why didn't you ask Merrick Garland? It's bullshit. It is 100% bullshit. And I'm sorry that Pam Bondi is offended that nobody gave Merrick Garland a hard time about this, but you're in the big seat now, big dog, and you got to answer the big questions. And so far, and from what I can tell, after reviewing 4 hours of footage today, you haven't answered one of them well enough. Not one time.
that's
Now,
where the
I want to
most
know at
transparent-
what point did the FBI and the DOJ decide that Lex Wessner was not a co-conspirator? Because our Epstein Files Transparency Act requires you, please put it
Time is
back on
up.
the screen, please, to release the internal decision about whether to prosecute him or not. And it's not in the files, and it's not in the files for any of these other men.
Time of the gentleman has
Which,
expired.
may she answer?
And he's a hypocrite because he voted against the ban that we were talking about on deep fake AI porn. Only 2 people voted against it, and you were one of them, hypocrite.
The gentleman's time has expired.
Now, I don't deep fake AI porn. Like, where did that come from? Where again, everybody can take shots at everybody and what they did and didn't do and what they voted for and didn't vote for, and that all gets really complicated. You can't answer these questions about Epstein. You just can't. And you're going to sit there and be like, you're a hypocrite, the AI porn. Like, what is that? What does that have to do with anything? Sure, we've got a million issues to deal with in this country. Right now, we're talking about this issue. So you can't just be like, oh, but what about the other? It doesn't fucking work that way. Pam Bondi is an embarrassment. She should be removed from office immediately, and Kash Patel right along with her. And Massey played the clip of Kash Patel, who said there's nothing else here. If there was more information, we would do that. By the way, then she tells, oh, if you were a victim of a crime, call 1-800-FBI or whatever the number was she gave out. There's 20 Epstein victims sitting behind her, waiting. Not one of them have been interviewed. They've all sent complaints. They're all willing to speak. Not one of them has been interviewed. 1-800-FBI, turn the fuck around and ask a question. They're right there. Call the FBI hotline. Are you kidding me? next to James Vanderbeek's kids. I mean, how could you not feel for these fucking people today? How could you not feel for these fucking people? You know, in like the 70s or 80s or whenever it was, when we realized like, oh, we really treated, boy, the Vietnam vets, we really treated them shitty. We were mad at the war, and then we took it out on our veterans who sacrificed a lot and lost their friends and family members. And remember when we just realized how shitty we were towards the people who went over to fight in Vietnam, who probably didn't want to, but just felt the duty or got whatever the case, whatever got them there. We're going to feel exactly like that in like 5 years from now. Like at some point, some of these people are going to wake up and be like, holy shit, that was really bad. Because right now we're the country where you could do whatever you want to little children if you have a lot of money. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. You can come to America and you could do whatever you want to little girls as long as they're poor. You know, you could intimidate them with money and all sorts of things. And, you know, that's totally okay. We're okay with that. That's the message that Pam Bondi is sending to the world. That's the message she's sending to this country, to the little girls and boys in this country, to the parents of little girls and boys in this country, and to the world at large. Don't worry about a couple of poor kids who can't defend themselves. They deserve to get trafficked. We're trying to get the Dow Jones up. We're trying to grow 401ks here. We're not trying to grow little poor people. That's bad. Those are bad. Little poor people, bad. They get abused, collateral damage. What's our focus? The Dow Jones. Because there's nothing in any of these files that shows any other guilty people whatsoever. And that's literally what Pam Bondi is doing. I mean, is Pam Bondi a mom? Does anybody know if Pam Bondi's a mom? Does she have children? Is she an aunt? Because it's got to be tough to be in the Bondi family and show up at fucking school tomorrow. That's got to be tough. That's a tough look. You are not going to get invited to a lot of lunch tables if your last name is Bondi tomorrow. I cannot imagine that. That's really bad. Like, I know personally my children are embarrassed by me and what I do here. I can't imagine what the little kids in the Bondi family are going through. Can't imagine it. Can't imagine. That's an embarrassment beyond having a parent with a podcast. That's for sure. All right, here's another clip.
Not on our time. No, you can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch. Not on our time. No way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
Lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
Time, and I should get back at least 45 seconds.
We will give you a few more seconds. I said
Not a
that
few,
already.
45 seconds.
Okay, I'm timing right now, Mr. Nadler. Go
All
ahead.
right.
My time.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch. Not on
Listen to the way that she snaps back at Jamie Raskin. Snaps back. She's annoyed. Isn't that beautiful? She's annoyed. She's annoyed. Could you imagine being the victim sitting back there who got their name released when they asked not to be? Who's gotten no results or support from her federal government whatsoever? Who can't even get the sympathy of this current administration to what she's gone through? But Pam Bondi is annoyed that she has to answer questions from Jamie Raskin. And by the way, I don't agree with Raskin a lot. He's right, because that's exactly what people in her position do. They take a long time to answer their questions so that the people answer. If you're wondering, why are they cutting each other off? Because Bondi's job right now is to talk long enough so that whoever's asking the questions runs out of time. That's why they try and get so many questions in a short amount of time. Yes, a lot of these things could be political meandering where you're just trying to like get your little sound bite in. That happens a lot. And that happened today too. Of course it did. But in this particular case, it was for the people. It was a good reason. It's because this was all so friggin' embarrassing that they were just trying to get answers for the American people. By the way, the people that put her current administration in the White House. And it was one of the reasons that got him elected. So it's really befuddling and really a betrayal that now they're on that they're protecting pedophiles, all of them, protecting them. It's crazy. Look at how angry she gets.
On our time, no way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, oh, I
anything,
did tell you because we
washed
saw
up
what you did in the
loser
Senate.
Lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
That's a lot of attitude from somebody who's come in and been this disrespectful to victims of the most horrific sex ring that we have ever fucking seen. That's a lot of attitude. I was stunned to see that. Stunned.
Is Jewish. I just want to be clear.
Do you want to go there, Attorney General?
belongs
Or
to
do
the
you
gen-
want to go there? Are you
belongs to the
serious?
general.
Has the Justice Department asked Secretary Lutnick about his ties to Epstein?
Excuse me. Secretary Lutnick has addressed those ties himself.
I'm asking you, has the Justice Department specifically asked Secretary Lutnick about his ties to Jeffrey Epstein?
He has addressed those ties himself.
Has the DOJ asked Secretary Phelan about his ties to Jeffrey Epstein?
I don't know whether he has addressed those or not.
Has the has Deputy Secretary Feinberg talked to the Department of Justice about his ties to Jeffrey Epstein? Yes or no? Has the Department of Justice talked to Deputy Secretary Feinberg about his ties to Jeffrey Epstein, which are clearly spelled out in the files? It's a very simple question. It's not a trick question. I'm just asking you.
Yeah, I'm stunned that you want to continue talking about.
Oh my gosh.
Epstein
Okay, I'm
instead of a
reclaiming my
former
time.
agent
I'm asking
murder.
you not a trick question, a simple
Done.
question. Okay, so what is clear is we have
So she's like, I can't believe you still want to talk about Epstein. What? You're there to testify about the Epstein stuff. How are you surprised that she wants to talk about Epstein? And by the way, is anybody offended by the fact that there's 3 members of the administration that are all prominently featured in the Epstein files? That can't get questioned? That's a problem? Howard Lutnick lied to the American people. He shouldn't get questioned about it. There shouldn't be further investigation. Are we all to believe? Because we were going to believe him the first time when he said he cut off ties in 2005, right? And he said he cut off ties in 2005 because he just got a creepy vibe from him. And then he gets convicted in 2009. And then in 2012, Lutnick is like, hey, you got room for us on the island for lunch? Coming by with the family. Are we supposed to believe him when he was like, yeah, I was just with my wife and kids? Now, dude, there are some people that I've come across in my life that have given me the heebie-jeebies. Some like around the kids. And I told my wife, I'm like, we're never going around these people again. Never. Like, don't invite me to this fucking thing because I'm not going because that person's going to be there. When I come across somebody that gives me the heebie-jeebies, I stay the fuck away from them and I make sure my kids stay the fuck away from them. I don't say, but they got really good chicken salad. Let's go over for lunch. The view is really nice. Let's see what let's see what they're doing for lunch. Remember that guy who gave us the creeps who got convicted of a sex crime just 3 years ago? We're just right next door. Let's just stop in and see. Nothing's gone wrong, And we're all supposed to believe that you went there with your family and all that shit. And then it was just you had your BLTs and you went on your way. Give me a fucking break. Of course he should be investigated. Of course. So it's not a crazy question from Representative Becca Bayland here. By the way, this gets a lot more fiery. Watch this.
evidence.
Do you know who Chris Malin is?
We have evidence that 3 senior officials within the Trump administration have ties to Jeffrey Epstein. And what
does ties mean?
I can conclude
What does
from what
ties
you are
mean?
saying that you have not talked to them.
What does ties mean? Can
I
you
think
define that?
Americans would be shocked to learn that you are not interested in talking with these officials who have ties to Jeffrey Epstein.
What does
across
ties
the
mean?
world,
Can you define that?
across the world,
Can you
prominent
define
men
ties?
who've been
Unbelongs-
exposed
unbelongs to
in the files have resigned their jobs in disgrace, and that's a good first start. And that same
Disgrace is
standard,
not saying the word
this
Chris
same
Malin.
standard should apply here. and Americans want accountability.
Who is Chris Malin?
Was the
was
president
he?
aware? Please stop talking. It is not your time to ask
Who was he?
questions. It is not your time. I'm reclaiming my time, Mr. Chair.
One second.
Time belongs to.
I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. You're there to testify. You're there to answer questions. And she's interjecting political conjecture in the middle of this line of questioning. It's amazing to me. And she's got her arms crossed and she's pissed off. She's pissed off. This is amazing to me. Amazing. She's no. How dare you inconvenience her day? Amazing.
Jelly from Vermont.
Was the president aware of Secretary Lutnick's ties to Epstein when he chose him to lead the Department of Commerce? Was he aware?
Chris Malin was a Border Patrol agent.
Okay, so I'm going to conclude that the president, in fact, did know about his ties because he was the next door neighbor.
Shame on you.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
You're
This
from
is
a tiny,
pathetic. This
beautiful
is
state.
pathetic, Mr.
Committee will be
Chair.
in order.
I am not asking trick questions here.
You
The
got your
American
5
people
minutes.
have a right to know the answers to this. These are senior officials in the Trump administration. This is not a game, Secretary.
I'm Attorney General.
My apologies, I couldn't tell. By 2008, we knew that Epstein was a convicted sexual abuser. And we now know that Lutnick went to Epstein's Island in 2012. How was that not a deal breaker for the president? And why aren't you asking questions of the Commerce Secretary about what he saw when he was at the island, which he lied about not ever going to? Why are you not asking these questions? And I see that my time is almost expired, so I will say.
It's not a bad question. If we now know, by the way, we all now know they've been sitting on these files for years. For years. So when you're investigating and doing background checks, wouldn't this be part of it? Don't you go into the old little FBI computer and put in Lutnick, see what pops up? Bunch of documents from the Epstein files didn't come up on that, didn't get flagged on that one? It's a fair question. It's a good question.
This. Do the right thing, Attorney General. Meet with the survivors. They have been asking for a year. Meet with the survivors. Do the right thing. I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. The gentleman from South Carolina is recognized for 5 minutes.
May I have 20 seconds of his time?
So that'd be up to the gentleman, but
Absolutely, Madam.
Thank you. Thank you. I was curious if you, Congresswoman, asked Bill Clinton that. Didn't see one tweet, not one. I didn't see one tweet when Joe Biden was in office about Bill Clinton. Didn't ask Merrick Garland anything about Epstein, not once when he was.
Weak sauce.
And also, I want the record to reflect that, with this anti-Semitic culture right now, she voted against a resolution condemning.
Oh,
Is
Jewish.
Jewish.
I
just want to be clear.
Do you want to go there, Attorney General? Or do you want to go there? Are you serious?
Gentleman
talking
from
about
South
anti-Semitism
Carolina.
to a woman who lost her grandfather in the Holocaust? Really?
The committee will be in order.
Talk to Jared Wise about anti-Semitism.
The ranking member knows that.
Can I get like 30 seconds back,
Oh,
He is
really?
Jewish. I just want to be clear.
So again, Pam Bondi, she's got a binder. She's done research. She's got retorts. She's got dirt on all of these fucking people. There's victims 15 feet behind her. And she went in there for a fight. She went in there to sling mud while they had to sit there and watch all this. I'm embarrassed to be an American today. Embarrassed by her behavior. She yelled at a woman for not voting for some anti-Semitic law, whatever, protection thing, when turns out her grandfather died in the Holocaust. This is how low we have gotten. This is how low. Pam Bondi didn't do that much research, though. She knew enough research to see if she ever tweeted questions to Bill. Like, she had a lot of information about these people. She clearly did some work. Where was that work ethic when it came to releasing these files and releasing them properly? Where was that work ethic when it came to not releasing the names of the victims when they asked you not to? Where was that work ethic then? Where? This idiot has the balls to be like, well, why didn't you do this? And why didn't you do that? And why didn't you do this? Again, they're Congress. They're shitheads. All of them are fucking awful people. They're terrible. I wouldn't piss on half of these people if they were on fire. But they're trying to get to the truth of something that is a huge deal. And Pam Bondi is treating it like it's just another day. Like it's not that big of a deal. They're just poor little girls. They're collateral damage for rich people. That's the message here. That's the message. It's not the little girls. They're not victims. They're not survivors. There's grown rich men that are out to make more money. And these little girls are collateral damage who have gotten in the way. That's the message. Somebody wrote earlier, and I'm sorry, I don't remember who, but thank you for that Pam Bondi doesn't have any children, married twice or something like that. By the way, Lindy, we didn't miss that. That is nominated. I saw the things. I couldn't bring it up at the time because we were in a serious moment there, but that's nominated. That was fucking hilarious. Okay, here we go. All right, thank you for this. Married and divorced twice, no kids of her own, career first, but not the law, apparently. That's pretty good. I'm going to nominate that too. That's not going to beat the cock chair one just because I know the audience, but that's pretty good. Thank you. I don't even know how to say the name. Static Fade. Oh, good. Okay, Static Fade. Thank you, Static Fade. This is clearly somebody who there's nothing wrong with not having children, but this is clearly somebody who just can't understand it on a particular level. They just can't. They just can't understand it. I mean, most people who don't have children are usually an aunt or an uncle too. So you can kind of get it, but I don't even know if she is because she doesn't. Does she have no shame? I don't know. I would be utterly embarrassed. I would have resigned. I wouldn't have even been able to make it through I wouldn't have been able to do it. How could you do that with what these people went through? You have no compassion. You have no fucking feelings. This is coming from a 40-year-old man who literally has no feelings. Like I got a feeling last week for the first time. It was ridiculous. You know,
I went over to the department yesterday for a couple of hours to review.
I didn't know what was going on, you know, but I mean, I don't know. I think this is the last one I got.
Yeah, I went over to the department yesterday for a couple of hours to review some of the unredacted materials. And I am looking forward to your detailed explanation for why you have withheld almost half of the documents, which is required by the bill. Now, obviously, there are 3 million documents, so I didn't get through much. But one thing I didn't see was the client list that you said you had on your desk a year ago. I did, however, find a couple of important documents. An 86-page prosecution memo from the Southern District of New York, and a draft indictment from Florida against Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirators. For reasons that I cannot understand nor are permitted by the bill, they were still redacted, even for members of Congress. So, Ms. Bondi, will you commit right here to immediately providing those 2 documents in unredacted form to members of Congress? Not a complicated question.
Well, I guess it is for you because you have a law degree and those are privileged.
Okay, they're not privileged, but we will discuss that later. I also found an email that I have right here from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell that was unredacted. And it included notes of statements that Donald Trump made about his prior relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, there is no reason for this to be hidden from the American people. There is no privilege. There is no attorney-client privilege. And I see you're checking with your staff. And I can assure you, staff, this is not under attorney-client privilege because it was sent from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell. Will you commit to publicly providing the unredacted version of this so that the American people can understand the extent of Donald Trump's lies about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
You're about as good of a lawyer today as you were when you tried to impeach President Trump in 2016. Have you apologized for that in 2019?
So will you unredact this? Will you
were
unredact
lead
this?
counsel on that. Privileged.
I'm asking you, will you unredact this?
Privileged.
Privileged, of course. I look forward to discussing this more. Now, these are obviously improper redactions.
And let me stop for a minute.
I'm talking. I'm
if they're
talking.
not privileged,
Quiet.
don't yell at me. If they're not
Mr. Chairman, would you stop the clock? This is on your time. It's not on Mr.
If
Goldman.
they're not
Even though
privileged,
you used your
if we review
improper
them and they're not-
redaction
you'll like my answer.
to
If we
continue
review
to
them and they're not
protect
privileged,
Donald
belongs to
we
the
will
member.
be happy to release them.
We'll
after
stop the
review.
clock. We'll stop the clock. Time belongs to the member. Go ahead.
even though you used improper redactions to protect Donald Trump and other predators associated with Jeffrey Epstein, you did the exact opposite thing with the survivors and victims of this scheme. So their identification information was really the only thing required to be redacted, and it was not. And it's clear this was not a mistake. This was not by accident. This was not because you only had 30 days when you really used 75, and that doesn't even include all the hours last March that you were redacting it. But I'll tell you why it's clear it wasn't a mistake. There is an email entitled Epstein Victim List. There are 32 names. One is redacted. 31 are not. So someone looked at it and decided to redact something. And I will tell you that that is clearly intentional to intimidate these survivors and victims. Now, in an interview last week,
How will you tell me that's intentional?
in an interview last week, Deputy Attorney General Todd
You
Blanche
can't go off script.
said that any victim that wants to speak with the department has done so, hopefully. Well, thanks to the incredibly brave people sitting here behind you, we can actually ask them if that's true. Now, with the survivors and victims who are here, please stand up one more time. Just by show of hands, how many of you or your loved ones actually have met with the Department of Justice and provided testimony and evidence? None. And of those of you who have not met, which is everyone, how many of you have reached out either individually or through a lawyer or representative to offer to provide testimony and evidence? All of them. And of those of you, all of you who have reached out, how many of you were denied or ignored by the Department of Justice? All of them. And despite the shameful and despicable efforts by Ms. Bondi and her department to intimidate you, how many of you are still willing to speak to the Department of Justice? All of them. Well, Ms. Bondi, it looks like you have some more witnesses to talk to. Yeah, I went over to the department.
Okay, so there you go. They all put up their hand when asked if they would go talk to the Department of Justice. Nobody raised their hand when they asked if they were interviewed already. They're all willing to go and tell the Department of Justice what was done to them and by whom. And our Department of Justice, the United States government, Department of Justice, has not talked to a single one of them. Not one. The same Department of Justice, not Merrick Garland, not Bill Barr, not anybody else who has sat in that chair. This Department of Justice, under Pam Bondi's direction, released over 30 victims' names when they weren't supposed to. And we know for a fact now that 6 co-conspirators' names were redacted because Ro Khanna and the other guy, Congress forced them to put those 6 names of the co-conspirators out there. And Lord knows how many others are in these files that have done wrong things or at least been suspected of doing wrong things. Again, these people are protecting pedophiles. Period. End of subject. The Attorney General, the FBI Director, and through both of them and his actions and words, the president of the United States. You can't convince me otherwise. You can't tell me, but he signed the thing. He signed the release under duress. And he did. But he's called it a hoax and a joke. He's tried to get people to move on. He's created a party line that Pam Bondi has repeated about trying to get people to talk about the 401k. 401k? Are you insane? We're talking about our children's safety. Again, I don't know these victims from Adam. I don't fucking know these people. I'd be lying to you. I feel for them. I'm sympathetic towards them. But if you ask me if I'm worried about them or my own children, I'm worried about my own children. I'm worried about my own children going through this world. I'm worried about my friends' children. I'm worrying about my other family members' children. I don't want this precedent to be set where rich and powerful men can be protected. Pedophiles can be protected because poor little girls are just collateral damage on our way to grow those 401ks and get that Dow Jones up. That's why this was an important issue to most Americans. Most Americans don't know these victims. I think most Americans feel the way I do. We feel bad for them. This is terrible. It's a shame. But the precedent that is being set right now by Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and President Trump, that's what has us all concerned and worried. That's the crime. That's the problem. And you're right, Christella, and I apologize. It was boys too. There was a young man who stood up in that judiciary room today. You're right. That's what we all don't want. We got enough shit to deal with sending our kids out into the world every single day. We don't want them to think that this is the land of freedom, the home of the brave, and the protectors of pedophiles because they got the money and everybody else don't. And it's fucking sickening. And anybody who turns this into a right versus left thing is fucking sickening to me. And they don't have my respect whatsoever. And I'm having a hard time trying to find a lower point in our country's history than right now, because this is right up there with some of our lowest moments. And we've had a bunch. We have had a bunch. But this is disgusting, and it's a really big fucking deal. And I know people think, people are out there, they live in their lives. What's the thing? I don't even know. It's probably the left. What is, yeah, Trump, he's probably a rapist. Yeah, whatever. You know, I get it. But I've been in it. A lot of these people down here in the live chat, they've been with me the whole way. 6 years of talking about this. 6 years. And it's never been more disgusting or felt dirtier than it does right now. It's horrific. It's absolutely horrific. And I keep wondering when we're going to wake up and do something about it. I mean, you want to know something? It's the president of the United States is the only one who can. Because the only redemption here is he gets rid of Pam Bondi, he gets rid of Kash Patel, and he assigns a special prosecutor to investigate him and everybody else in those files. That's leadership. That's the America that I feel like we can be. Because that's the way we used to be, right? We used to be like, well, this isn't good for me personally, but I'll do it because it's good for the country. So that's what I think the president of the United States can do. Because I still think there are good things he can do. I know a lot of my friends on the left don't think that. You know? I know a lot of my friends on the left think that he's just a piece of shit and he'll always be a disappointment and everything like that. Call me crazy. I think he's still capable of good things on occasion. On occasion. But Pam Bondi's legacy is going to be protecting a whole slew of pedophiles and arresting Don Lemon. That's going to be Pam Bondi's legacy. And that's embarrassing on a whole bunch of levels. On a whole bunch of levels. And I agree. Rhonda's right. You can always do good things. You just have to do it. The president is sitting in the Oval Office right now, or in the residence, in the mansion, and he can do good things. He can still do something good about this. And the first step is jumping up on a podium and saying, I've been reviewing what's been going on and I'm not pleased. Pam Bondi is going to be removed, and so is Kash Patel. We're going to bring new people in, and I'm going to appoint a special prosecutor to take over this entire thing and investigate me and everybody else. Because if I was innocent in all of this, that's exactly what I would say. If I was 100% innocent, if my name was in the Epstein files 1,000 times and I know I did nothing wrong, I'd be like, pick the worst left-leaning son of a bitch you can find that hates my guts, and I'll put them in charge of it. Because these people should go down, and I know I did nothing wrong. But he can't do that because he's embarrassed, either because of what he actually did or because he didn't do anything to innocent little girls and boys, but he protected the people who did, up to and including today. Again, I said this at the time, and I still believe it. The worst thing that he did in his presidency so far was the day he turned around and said, oh, this is a Democratic hoax. You lost a huge amount of the country. He lost followers, not all of them. The crazy ones are still there. But he lost the entire middle of the people who were like, I don't know, left, right, maybe I'll give him. Well, Kamala's a shithead. So, those people are gone. You're not going to have those people come next election. And you're going to fucking find out in the midterms. Because we already had that special election in Texas, that went to a Democrat. The writing is on the wall. I mean, it's there. It's on the wall. It's over. It's over. But he can pull himself out of it if he does exactly what I said. I don't know if he's going to do that. I don't know if he's going to do it. I'm not sure. I don't have a lot of confidence. But Rhonda, like you said, there's always time to do good. Call me naive, call me an idiot, call me whatever Paul has been calling me over the last 2 months. But I still believe there's always time to do good. There's always time to do good. And he still has that opportunity. That took a little bit longer than I thought it was, even though I thought it would take long. So let's go through some of the other big topics that are happening in the world quickly here. Everybody obviously invested in the Savannah Guthrie situation and her mom, Nancy Guthrie. Still a lot of people thinking that it's a whole big conspiracy theory, accusing the family of being in on it. I saw one comment today that really made me chuckle. Like, they're all doing this for a made-for-TV movie. That's a lot. That's a lot to unpack. There's a lot there. I don't doubt people do things for attention at times, but that's a lot. But the biggest story coming out of the Nancy Guthrie situation is reports say investigators recovered a black glove roughly a mile and a half from her home, resembling the gloves seen in surveillance footage. The FBI described the extensive search along multiple roadways in the cross coverage. The FBI confirmed their search activity, the glove recovery that's been reported by multiple outlets. What we don't know is who took her, who that person is, whether those ransom notes are legitimate or not, and if any of these quote-unquote deadlines really do indeed mean anything. I also did find it interesting, again, although we're all sympathetic to the Guthries and we all feel bad for Nancy and Savannah and the whole family here, the White House was tweeting today about the security cam footage, the doorbell cam footage that I'm sure everybody has seen by now. And they're like, help us find these people, help us identify this person right now. And I look at that and I go, boy, that's really great to see the full force of the federal government behind a nice cause. Where is that when it comes to the victims of Jeffrey Epstein? Where is that? Why don't we have, here's all the stuff we've been seeing in the files. Can anybody give us more information on whether or not Steve Tisch is a complete pedophile? Whether or not Elon Musk has done bad things when he was begging to go to the island? Whether or not there's more to the Howard Lutnick story than I just stopped by for chicken salad on a random day in 2012? You know, how about the 6 co-conspirators that were just, their names were just unredacted? Where's the, hey, can anybody give us more information on these people? Where's that? Where's that? It's easier to do it for the snappy co-host of the Today Show, right? Sexier, it's fun that way. Look at us, we're helping. Where's that attitude for the victims of the Epstein files? Where is it? Where is that? Finally, we lost the James Vanderbeek today, 48 years old, lost his battle with colorectal cancer. Go get a colonoscopy. It's the best sleep you're ever going to get. I feel like there's no endorsement for colonoscopies because it's kind of, I feel like I could endorse colonoscopies. I've had like 6. Okay. It's, you know, again, it's the best sleep you'll ever have. And it's hilarious when you're just shitting your brains out. The stuff that you drink, the thing, it tastes horrible. But you just, the 17th time you're shitting and it's just pure liquid coming out of your asshole. It's like, well, this is a great time. I mean, what else would you be doing? Watching Real Housewives? What else are you doing that's so important that you can't piss liquid out of your ass to make sure that you don't have asshole cancer? Go get checked. I feel like I'm the Wilfred Brimley of colonoscopies. Diabetes. You don't want butt cancer. You know, go get, and I'm telling you, I don't know what the drugs they give you, but it's the best sleep. It's the fucking best sleep. The first time I ever got a colonoscopy, I was really young. I was having some issues and I thought for sure, I'm like, oh, I have cancer. You know, it was bad. It was bad. There was a lot of things happening. It turned out it wasn't cancer, but it was not great. But anyway, I remember coming out of sleep, and it's so funny because my friend who's dealt with this as well said the same thing. You come out of that going fully expecting a doctor to walk in and be like, I'm sorry, but you're going to die. You have ass cancer. And you're coming out of this sleep from these drugs that they give you, and you're like, I don't even care. You're just like, I'll deal with it. It'll be fine. I just hope somebody's got a bag of Oreos. And you know what happens at the end of a colonoscopy? They do have a bag of Oreos. Sometimes it's Chips Ahoy. Sometimes it's Oreos. Hey, sometimes it's animal crackers. But every now and then, it's fucking Nutter Butters, and it's a party. And when you're sitting there all hopped up on some shit, and you're noshing on Nutter Butters, and the doctor comes in and says, good news, you don't have colon cancer, it doesn't get better than that. And I was in the delivery room for 2 of my children being brought into this earth. And as great as that was, did I mention there were Nutter Butters? I mean, it's not even close. It's not even close. So, Bird says, I love Nutter Butters. No shit, Bird. It's like saying I love oxygen. We all do. We all do. And you know, I'll tell you this. If anybody says they don't love Nutter Butters, cross-reference them with the Epstein list because they're on it, because they're a piece of shit. Because Nutter Butters are fantastic. It's been I've watched a lot of Pam Bondi testimony today. I'm a little on edge. Forgive me. Anyway, I don't really know, the details on James Vanderbeek's colonoscopy situation, if he got him or not, or if this was something that couldn't have been caught or whatever it was. But he let us know just 2 years ago that he was diagnosed. It looked for a time there like he was doing really well, but then there was like a Dawson Creek reunion not that long ago and he didn't attend. And you kind of had that feeling of, he's probably going through it again, and I hope he's okay. And as it turns out, he wasn't. He has a wife, 6 children. Terrible. 6 children. He competed on Dancing with the Stars in 2019 and appeared on The Masked Singer in 2025. He did a lot of movies and TV shows and stuff, but obviously his he was good in he's in the Silent Bob movies a lot. He was in a couple of those. He was really good at in those. But I think his two standout roles, obviously Dawson's Creek and Varsity Blues. I mean, when he goes, I don't want your life. I mean, that's just who doesn't say that 6 times in a week? You know, like I'll just be peeing by myself and I'll just be like, but I don't want your life. Like I'll just say it. Like it's one of those stems. I think we're starting to call them now. It's just one of those things that just gets caught in your head, you know? And let's talk about Varsity Blues. That's a fucking, I'm not just saying this because the man died today. That's an underrated movie. I am not turning off Varsity Blues if I come across it. It's fucking great. Him, Voight, they're all good. Billy Bob, it's fucking great. I love that friggin' movie. That movie is so good. And Vanderbeek is really, really good in it. I mean, he really, the whole thing is centered around him. He's killer. He's good in it. And let's not forget the whipped cream bikini. Come on. Stop it now. It's Americana. That's the America I want it to be, not the America that we have post Bondi testimony. And Dawson's Creek, 1998 to 2003, only 5 years. You know what's funny about that show? I only watched it for the first year, the first season, because I was in high school when it came out and everybody in high school was talking about it. Like we took the bus home. All the girls were talking about it on the bus. So I was like, I have to find out what this is, because if I want to talk to girls, I got to know what the hell is going on. You know, Lead Balloon says I go and get colonoscopies for shits and giggles. You got that right. Exactly, for shits and giggles. That's getting nominated. That's Lead. Hey, that was well constructed. That was well constructed, my friend. Way to go. Way to go. It is exactly shits and giggles. That's exactly what happens right before I get every colonoscopy. Lots of shits and giggles. Boy, you might the cuck chair one. Who was it? Lindy had the cuck chair one before? Yeah, it was Lindy. This is gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough little competition for comment of the episode. I'm not putting Christella's comment on the screen. You could just read it on the thing. But I remember thinking, if I want to talk to girls, I got to know what's going on with Dawson's Creek. And then I started watching Dawson's Creek, and Pacey, better known as Charlie Conway from the only trilogy that really matters, The Mighty Ducks, is banging his teacher. I mean, I'm in high school at the time. This is every high school boy's fantasy. And by the way, I went to an all boys Catholic school. So the two actual hot teachers that we had, forget it. Oh my God. Like that's all you thought about. You were like, oh my God, dudes, boring schoolwork. Oh, there goes Miss, I don't want to say any real names, but that's, is so, and then to sit down on TV, and this is primetime television, and the dude in high school is banging the hot teacher. Got me through a lot of tough, high school could be emotionally a rough time for kids, a mentally challenging time. The dream of maybe being able to bang the teacher one day is what got me through a lot of sad and lonely, confusing nights. I'm happy to say. But I kind of lost track of the show after that. I never really watched it, but it was a cultural phenomenon, and it really did lead the way. Like the OC was another huge television show, and I don't think we have the OC without Dawson's Creek. And and then you can point to all the other kind of wacky little dramas that appeared in that primetime slot that never really was there before. But Dawson's Creek really kind of led the way. And I'll tell you the other cool thing. Like, I don't know anybody who didn't think Vanderbeek was cool as shit. Like, he was just cool. He wasn't one of the jocks. He wasn't one of the nerds. Like, he was just like a kid who liked making movies in high school. Like, I don't know about you, but all my friends were creative in high school. Like, you couldn't have found like a cooler guy. Like, you think, oh, I could wind up like that dude. And I don't look like James Vanderbeek, but a guy could, you're like, oh, this guy's doing it, so maybe. So, and he did that at a young age. He did really, really well. And then he carved himself out enough of a career that he had, got married and 6 kids and everything. It's crazy. And the fact that he's only 48 years old, like it gets weird. Again, I didn't really have feelings up until last year. It's strange now, some of these people dying, like it really, like it affects you. And now when you start to see people your own age dying, like it's weirding me out how much it's like messing with my head. You know, it really, really is. But you see a guy like this, he's courageous and, you know, he's young and, you know, he's out there fighting this disease and you're just rooting for him. And then for it just happened on a random Wednesday in February. Like it's tough, you know, it's really, really tough. And I probably shouldn't do this, but if you're about to make fun of me because of how emotional I'm getting, he put a photo out. I'm going to pop up on the screen for you guys his last photo that he shared on his Instagram. And, you know, it's like these are all like past shots and everything. But I mean, look how skinny he is with his little daughter there. You know, look how skinny. And that little hat, you know, that hats like that give me chills because it's just like, you know, they're battling through it. You know, they're cold. You know, they're, you know, skin and bones. You know, it's tough. Fucking cancer is tough, man. So my heart goes out to the Beek family for several reasons. One, they lost their dad today and their husband. Two, Beek is just an awful last name. And for somebody who has an awful last name, again, my sympathies. Like, it's one thing when you lose somebody, but when you lose somebody and you've bestowed a heart, like my kids, I've given them just the worst last name ever. It's the reason why it's called Anthony on air and you don't know my last name because it's fucking awful. It's terrible. So my heart goes out to them twofold today, basically, is what I'm saying. But I mean, just look at this beautiful little girl right here, you know, and she's not going to get to hug her daddy anymore. It's just absolutely heartbreaking. I will say this is one of the worst episodes we've ever done. I mean, I think we had like 3 laughs the whole time and 2.5 of them came from you guys. It's just really, this one's a tear. I'm hoping Friday we're going to rebound with some funny shit. I mean, I hope the world doesn't suck ass on Friday the way it did today, you know, because sometimes it's our job to pull everybody out of it. And sometimes it's our job to just kind of hold up a mirror. And today was a hold a mirror up kind of a day. And it stinks. I am sorry. I apologize. Let's go back to the hot and sexy. Yeah, look at that. Holy shit. Look at that fucking good looking. I'm straight as an arrow. I could tell that guy's fucking good looking. I could tell chick's underwear just fell to the floor when he walked in a fucking room. I mean, and for him to turn out to be like a nice guy, like I think he was like super Christian and like 6 kids and everything like that. Holy shit. That's unbelievable. That is unbelievable. Because if I had a bazooka, if I had looks like that, I would just be, I mean, forget it. I would just be the biggest asshole piece of shit everywhere, you know? It's kind of amazing that he wasn't like bigger. I thought he was a pretty good actor. I mean, he was kind of one of those actors that played themselves and everything, but that's like 95% of actors, you know? Thanks, Christella, for letting me know it's okay. That's gonna, Christella, you just got me. You, like Pacey in high school, just got me through today. That's for sure. Because I always feel bad if we don't bring some jokes and some cheeriness to it. But there was no room for it today. You know, there really was just no. I'm so fucking disgusted with Pam Bondi. Like, I'm just fucking disgusted. I said to Cuddles before the show, I was like, I don't know if I could do this one. I'm so. You know, because when you're angry, it's hard when you're angry. You know, we're supposed to be the conduit. We're supposed to be helping people out here. But it was tough today for sure. Really, really tough. So condolences to all the Beeks out there. My heart goes out to you and your family. Hopefully tomorrow will be better. It's Thirsty Thursday after all. So hopefully a couple cocktails for everybody and we'll be feeling pretty all right. I'm going to do something that I don't really love to do. I'm going to split comment of the episode because I really think Ant Goes to Get Colonoscopies for Shits and Giggles is just genius on several levels. But I know we're a cuck crew here. And Lindy's I'm Not a Chair, but I know a cuck when I see one was downright brilliant. So I hope you guys don't mind sharing the award on this episode. Frankie C still recovering from some illness.
Show me potato salad.
Hopefully we'll see him and Aaron on Friday.
Maybe we should go now. Go ahead.
You guys have a great night. Thanks so much for hanging.